I'm sure you will agree that everyone faces a bad project manager once in a while, but can we learn something from these managers? I think if you know the bad patterns of management, you can avoid them, but you should know these negative patterns in the first place. That's why let's ensure that you don't do something that people really hate. First of all, bad managers micromanage people. They don't trust people. Why? Because they feel insecure. That is why their only way to gain control over a project is by micromanaging tasks for each and every person. But it gives merely a feeling of control. By the way, I don't think that micromanagement is a complete evil. It cannot be the core of your leadership style, but just like any other technique, micromanagement has its place in project management toolbox. Okay, you see, the opposite to micromanagement is the delegation of responsibilities. Notice, delegation of responsibilities, not the delegation of tasks. And I'll give you that, it's very hard to implement this approach. First, you need to motivate people to dedicate themselves to work at hand. Second, you need to give away the ownership of the responsibility, which means you can't take credit for it. And third, you need to build trustworthy relationships with your team members. So the upfront effort to empower a team is really huge. Also, things may not go well during this period of time, as it's a learning process for the team. Bad managers don't like taking risks or doing hard work, so they avoid this approach. And that's the second thing. Bad managers don't develop their team members at all. First of all, again, it's very hard. Second, the same insecurities kick in here. I really don't know the thought process behind this. I can only assume that bad managers justify it like this. If you develop people, they'll leave the company. Or if bad managers develop team members, they will notice how inefficient the management is. Or you can't take credit for the work if the team knows what to do themselves. Okay, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are bad managers afraid that people will leave them, or are they afraid of smart people in general? Pause now and write what you think in the comments below. Personally, I worked with both types of managers. Once, my manager told me that my professional development was my personal matter and that I should spend my personal time outside of work to develop my skills, even if it helped to do my current job. But on the bright side, I worked with another manager who told me I should dedicate 20% of my working hours to self-development, and I have to protect this time from other commitments. I still try to keep to this 20% rule, by the way. That is why I recommend that you also allow people to spend working hours reading books, watching YouTube videos, and taking courses. And also, you need a list of resources you can recommend to them. For example, this channel. This often leads to the third thing that bad project managers do. Bad managers want to have average people whom they can easily replace. So, as a result, they treat people as resources that should do what they are told to do. So, a bad manager believes that if a person gets a salary for the work, they should be grateful for it. People should do whatever is asked to earn that salary. You and I know that people don't achieve great things at work for the sake of salary. Yes, normal compensation is a must-have. It's a prerequisite for any motivation. But good managers see people as a whole. People have professional skills and goals, but likewise, they have personal lives, they have hobbies and ambitions. Moreover, everyone has a different period in life. So instead, good managers try to align the project work with the needs of every person as much as possible. That's why people put their hearts and soul into projects only if they feel the ownership for the outcome, if they see the impact they make, if they overcome challenges and improve themselves in the process. On the other hand, bad managers deprive people of their achievements. That's why here's the next common pattern. Bad managers don't recognize the achievements of others. In the worst case scenario, they try to take all the credit for the team's work. But you see, other managers and leaders see through it. That's why instead, nowadays, bad managers try to downplay any achievements of others. They don't want people to be proud of their work. Now, combine it all together. Bad managers don't allow self-development, they don't allow initiative, and they don't allow you to be proud of your work. As a result, people in such environments lose confidence in themselves. They stop any attempts to do something better because they don't see correlation between their efforts and recognition and rewards. So, now I want to point it out. All these traits are actually interrelated. These bad patterns of behavior feed on each other and they create vicious cycles. By the way, I'll share my insights on why it happens this way and the underlying reason at the end of the video, so keep watching. So now it's not a surprise that bad managers never hire smart people. Instead, they want to be the smartest person on the team. And I saw it in practice several times. It happens this way. A bad manager wants to dominate all team members, so they don't want any team members to challenge their decisions or authority. Again, it comes from insecurity. They are afraid that a smarter person will substitute them. And in the modern workplace, you cannot openly harass or yell at people. That's why bad managers subtly try to dominate subordinates. Again, they hire people with weak character or low confidence. They undermine their authority and achievements. As a result, these people are stuck in the same place for years. Unfortunately, it happens in the span of years and you don't notice it on daily basis. But take an objective look at your current career period and be honest with yourself. Do you feel like you are stuck? And does your manager tell you that no other employee will ever hire you? They say your skills are inefficient and you should stay here for a while. Unfortunately, that's a good sign that you work with a bad manager. And if you find this video useful so far, please click the like button. Maybe it will help other managers as well. Now let's talk about the most prominent trait of a bad manager. Bad managers blame others. At the basic level, they blame others when covering their backs. If something goes wrong, they don't want to associate themselves with any kind of failure. But the worst of the bad managers blame others to promote themselves. Okay, I've described quite an evil person here. In the real world, you won't find a manager who can nail all these bad patterns at the same time. It takes a lot of effort to create such a toxic environment and still make it work for a prolonged period of time. Bad managers get fired from time to time and they have to start all over again. But here's the most critical part of this whole video. All these bad patterns appear and thrive due to the lack of self-awareness and insecurity. Okay, I won't lie to you by saying that I'm perfect, that I never made a mistake or always navigated well around all these problems. I did some leadership and people management mistakes. I hired the wrong people. However, I do have enough self-awareness and I do spend a lot of time on analyzing my actions and patterns of behavior. As a result, I'm able to fix my mistakes and not allow myself to get into this vicious circle. So from one side you need self-awareness. From the other you need to avoid insecurities as a project manager. And to do that, you need to improve your knowledge and skills. That's why, to boost your confidence, I recommend you to learn from my project management approach. Watch this video now, it will help you to identify knowledge gaps and improve your project management skills. It will make you a better project manager. Click on the video and I'll see you there.